The crowd fell completely silent the moment the challenge was announced. Hundreds of spectators stood around the polished training floor, expecting to witness another effortless victory by the world's most famous martial arts billionaire. Cameras flashed. Reporters leaned forward. Wealthy sponsors whispered among themselves, convinced they already knew how the story would end. Then, from the back of the hall, a man wearing faded jeans, old sneakers, and a simple white gi stepped onto the mat while holding the tiny hand of his young daughter. His clothes looked worn. His face carried years of exhaustion. Yet his eyes remained strangely peaceful. When the billionaire proudly declared that nobody present could last even 1 minute against his legendary 8th Dan Aikido skills, the single father smiled gently and replied with calm confidence that stunned everyone. He accepted the match on one condition. He would spar only if the billionaire promised not to cry afterward. Before this incredible story continues, take a second to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who still believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another emotional story that reminds us what truly matters in life. Nobody laughed after hearing the father's words. Instead, confusion spread through the room. The billionaire's confident smile faded for only a fraction of a second before returning even whiter than before. He assumed the poor man was making a desperate joke to hide his fear. After all, the billionaire had spent decades building a reputation not only as one of the richest men in the country but also as an internationally respected martial artist. His private dojo covered an entire estate. He trained with champions from around the world. His trophies filled glass rooms larger than most people's homes. Every magazine called him unstoppable. Every interview praised his discipline. He believed that success, money, and endless victories had made him untouchable. Very few people knew anything about the quiet father standing across from him. His name was Daniel. Years earlier, Daniel had served as an instructor at a respected martial arts academy. He never cared about fame or championships. Teaching children discipline and confidence had always brought him more happiness than collecting medals. Life had been beautiful until tragedy struck. His wife became seriously ill, and every dollar they owned disappeared into hospital bills. Daniel sold his house, his car, and even his treasured collection of martial arts books trying to save the woman he loved. Despite every sacrifice, she passed away, leaving him alone to raise their 5-year-old daughter, Lily. After losing everything, Daniel worked wherever anyone would hire him. During the mornings he delivered groceries. In the afternoons he repaired broken furniture. At night he cleaned office buildings. Every spare moment belonged to Lily. He helped her with homework, cooked simple meals, and tucked her into bed while hiding his own heartbreak behind warm bedtime stories. Although life had become unimaginably difficult, he refused to teach his daughter bitterness. Instead, he taught gratitude. Every evening they thanked life for another day together, even if dinner was nothing more than bread and soup. The billionaire had organized the charity martial arts exhibition to celebrate his newest business success. Officially the event was meant to inspire young athletes. Unofficially it had become another stage for his enormous ego. He defeated local instructors one after another while photographers captured every victorious pose. Every applause fed his pride. Every compliment convinced him that he truly stood above everyone else. When Daniel arrived, he had no intention of competing. Lily simply loved watching martial arts demonstrations because they reminded her of happier days with her mother. They sat quietly near the back until the billionaire loudly announced that nobody possessed enough courage to challenge him anymore. Something about those words troubled Daniel deeply. Martial arts had never been created to humiliate people. They were meant to protect, guide, and strengthen the human spirit. Watching arrogance wear the mask of discipline felt painfully wrong. As Daniel stepped forward, many spectators shook their heads. Some pitied him. Others expected a humiliating defeat. Reporters searched desperately for information about the unknown challenger but found almost nothing. They saw only an exhausted single father without expensive equipment or famous sponsors. The referee explained the rules, and both men bowed respectfully. Daniel's bow carried genuine humility. The billionaire's bow barely lowered his head. The match began. Instead of attacking immediately, Daniel remained perfectly still. His breathing slowed. His shoulders relaxed. The billionaire circled confidently before launching an explosive technique designed to end the contest quickly. Spectators gasped. Daniel moved only inches. The attack missed completely. Without using unnecessary force, Daniel redirected the billionaire's momentum with astonishing precision. The wealthy champion stumbled several steps before regaining balance. Murmurs spread across the arena. Nobody expected the first attack to fail. The billionaire frowned and attacked again with greater speed. Once again Daniel flowed effortlessly around the movement as though dancing with invisible music. There was no anger in his face. No desire to embarrass his opponent. Every movement reflected years of disciplined training shaped by patience rather than pride. Minutes passed. The billionaire grew increasingly frustrated. Each powerful technique dissolved into empty air. Every failed attack drained more confidence from the man who had spent years believing himself unbeatable. Daniel never struck him. Instead, he simply protected himself. That confused everyone watching. If Daniel possessed such remarkable skill, why wasn't he trying to win? Only Lily understood. Her father had once told her that the strongest warrior never fights to destroy another person. The strongest warrior protects everyone involved, even the one making mistakes. Eventually the billionaire lost control of his emotions. He abandoned technique completely and rushed forward with reckless aggression. Daniel gently redirected him once more. This time the billionaire fell heavily onto the mat before thousands of silent spectators. Nobody cheered. The silence hurt far more than laughter ever could. For the first time in many years, the billionaire looked completely lost. His expensive reputation could not help him stand back up. Neither could his fortune. Daniel immediately offered him a hand. Many expected the billionaire to refuse. Instead, after several painful seconds, he accepted. That simple gesture changed everything. The billionaire looked into Daniel's tired eyes and noticed something unexpected. There was no satisfaction there. No mockery. No revenge. Only compassion. After the referee declared Daniel the winner, journalists rushed toward him demanding interviews. Cameras surrounded the humble father. Daniel politely declined every request. He simply walked over to Lily, knelt beside her, and asked whether she was hungry. The little girl smiled and nodded. They began leaving the arena together. The billionaire watched them disappear toward the exit before suddenly calling Daniel's name. Everyone stopped. Slowly, the billionaire walked across the training floor carrying no microphone, no trophy, and none of his usual confidence. He apologized publicly. The entire arena froze. He admitted that years of wealth and endless praise had convinced him that skill made him superior to others. Meeting Daniel had reminded him that true mastery was measured by humility rather than victory. Daniel accepted the apology without hesitation. But the billionaire still felt something remained unfinished. The following morning he quietly visited the small apartment where Daniel and Lily lived. The building was old. Paint peeled from the walls. The elevator barely worked. It shocked him that the man capable of defeating him so effortlessly returned home to such difficult conditions every evening without complaint. Inside, he saw Lily drawing pictures while Daniel repaired an old wooden chair for extra income. Nothing about their lives reflected self-pity. The billionaire asked Daniel why he never mentioned his financial struggles. Daniel simply explained that kindness loses its value the moment it becomes a performance for sympathy. He wanted his daughter to learn strength, not dependence. Those words struck harder than any martial arts technique. Over the following months, the billionaire quietly transformed his foundation. Instead of spending millions promoting himself, he began supporting struggling single parents, widows, and children who could not afford education or sports programs. He hired Daniel to design martial arts classes that focused on character before competition. Soon hundreds of children filled the training halls. Some arrived angry. Some arrived frightened. Some had already lost hope. Daniel treated every child exactly the same way he treated his daughter, with patience, respect, and unwavering belief that every person deserved another chance. Years later, one journalist asked the billionaire what the greatest lesson of his life had been. Many expected him to mention business success or martial arts championships. Instead, he smiled softly. He answered that the greatest lesson came from losing. Not losing a match. Losing his pride. He explained that the strongest person he had ever met was not the wealthiest, the most famous, or the highest ranked. It was a tired single father who carried groceries during the day, cleaned offices at night, raised a daughter alone, and still found enough compassion to protect the dignity of the man trying to defeat him. If this story has touched your heart, please write this special comment below. True strength begins with kindness. We'd love to see how many people still believe that compassion is the greatest power of all. As Lily grew older, she often remembered that unforgettable day inside the arena. People thought her father had defeated a billionaire with martial arts. She knew the truth was much deeper. Her father had defeated arrogance with humility, hatred with patience, and pride with forgiveness. That victory never appeared on a trophy shelf, but it changed countless lives forever. Before you leave, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments what part of this story moved you the most. Your support helps us continue creating stories that remind the world that kindness is never weakness. Because in the end, the richest person is not the one who owns the most, the strongest person is not the one who wins every fight, and the greatest champion is the one who lifts others even after they have tried to bring him down. Long after the applause faded and the cameras disappeared, people forgot the billionaire's trophies. But they never forgot the quiet smile of a single father who asked for only one promise before the match began, that his opponent would try not to cry.